Hey everyone, Jesse Hart of Full Circle Phenomenal here with my longest running student, Joanne Ellis. We've been working together on her yoga practice for a year and a half now, about. She started with me while I was about a month or 2 months into this drive around the world journey, and she has been absolutely outstanding. I can't believe what she's going towards, and she's starting to begin getting into advanced poses. How old are you again, Joanne? If you don't mind my asking.
67. 67.
67 years old. And she's doing stuff that I see a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds can't do, including headstands, crow pose, which is an arm balancing pose where you're just on your hands, shoulder stands, and just her overall attitude towards life has just been continually improving and moving through some really big challenges through life using yoga, and a lot of those things have happened just recently. So I wanted to take a moment just to capture some of Joanne's story, both for my personal record as well as just to describe to the world of people of all types what yoga can do and what we can do together. So Joanne, if you wouldn't mind describing me just a little bit of your past leading up to hearing about yoga, practicing yoga in general, even before we met.
Okay. Well, where I am right now, I grew up here, and the longer I live, the luckier I know I was to grow up here. In those days, anything interesting to do was all outdoors, and there were chores. It was a ranch, not commercial, just for food, recreation, and tax write-off. So that's kind of how I grew up in a very physical environment, and I consider myself really lucky for that. I've been invited to yoga a number of times by friends, various workshops. Sometimes I was teaching a workshop in fine arts once down in Malibu, and we had a yoga break, and we all jumped on it. And every time I get a little taste of yoga, I would think, I really could use this regularly, and just never quite got into it. I have a learning challenge that makes it interesting. And then my son, Ben, got me into it more about 2.5 years ago, because he is a steady practitioner. He uses it pretty much almost every day to keep himself limber and pain-free and agile.
And that's how I met you, through Ben. And Ben and I have worked one-on-one together, not with the yoga, but with the Flow Arts fire spinning. I did a couple of my first big gigs with him.
Yep. Yeah, he and his brother both. When I was visiting his brother Sam down in San Diego last year, Sam was warming up for his surfing doing yoga. So it's kind of all around me, and I guess you don't really know. You might not have an idea about what you want your older years to be like, but maybe having children, and children who are physically engaged, kind of, if you want to keep up, you go there. So that's partly what motivates me.
How did you hear about my teaching yoga in the first place, and what got you to want to reach out to me?
I recall your being out here one time with Ben visiting, and you guys were doing a flow arts practice out in front of the house, and that's when we were, my dad was on his way, and the contrast in life and dying can be really vivid sometimes. So your presence, along with your friends and fellow practitioners, was it was revivifying for us. It was I remember my brother saying, "Gee, I wish they'd come back," because we were going through a sad time watching my dad's end and all. So so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then when we started meeting, you were going through with Bob his dementia, and his
Yep.
life starting to deteriorate. How was that for you before your yoga practice, moving into it?
Well, I've had a really good online support group. It's just that I didn't really have any way yet to address what was happening to me physically. You don't really feel it. You don't really... It's hard to be aware of what's happening to you when you're witnessing the decline of someone you love. But until you and I started doing this, I knew I was fading somehow. I knew I was losing. I had no idea I couldn't even cross my legs anymore. I didn't know about that. There were a number of rude surprises, but...
You're sitting cross-legged right now, huh?
I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there. Yeah. And...
but I've seen you do half lotus. You're getting the half lotus down with the 1 foot up on the leg. So.
Yes. You know, that's the thing that really strikes me about yoga is that off and on through my life, I've been doing it, and I didn't know I was doing it. I used to sit cross-legged easily, and up into my 20s, maybe even my 30s. And I never thought, I am doing yoga now. I just did it because I could. And when you suddenly sit down, like when Ben first invited me to join him in some practice, I made the rude surprise that my knees were up around my jaw. I could not get them down. You know, so... it's amazing what slips away from you while you're busy.
Yeah, no kidding. How has yoga helped you to slow down as well as get back into those days when you could start to just do whatever you want without thinking? Or taking note, I mean.
I have a hard time measuring it. I think I've shared with you a number of times where... you know, I got to back my car out of the garage, and I don't entirely trust rearview mirrors to tell me everything I need to know, because we've got some big pines right next to the buildings, and they've done nothing but get bigger, so I got to swerve a little bit more. So I got to veer, do like this little S-curve to get out of the garage. And I remember when we started, I could see one track of the roadway behind me. Now I can see the whole roadway behind me since you and I started practicing. It's just being able to move more fluidly, more comfort, more confidence. It's really hard to measure. It's just, I feel like I move in the world with greater ease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're able to do more of your work and the things that you like to do outdoors with greater ease all around and for longer periods of time, yeah?
Absolutely. I've discussed with you what I developed while my husband's illness was worsening. When it really started to decline, I needed to take over everything for us, and my stress levels went up, and a naturopath and a conventional doctor both told me, you have adrenal insufficiency. You've got chronic stress. You're not letting go. And a lot of the poses we do that are about releasing joints and releasing all those muscles, all those hinges we're made of, is helping me do just that, let go. And I think it's helping my adrenals heal as well. I'm looking forward to getting a new blood panel to see what's happening.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed with Bob, and even through the transition once Bob passed a few weeks ago, that still your life has continued to transition up and up and up. Like you look more vibrant, more youthful, more happy throughout this whole process. And it's not been hard to see those layers fall off and see the young woman still inside that was within you the whole time, that maybe the many layers piled up over time, as well as lots of different challenges through life. Tell me about how yoga was able to help you kind of shed some of those layers.
Well, bottom line, flexibility is huge. It is huge. I know now that with all the electronics and digital equipment we all use now in life to get things done, make a living, entertain ourselves, our range of motion kind of becomes limited to this little box in front of us and just dealing with that. So, and I was no different. I think also what's helped me a lot is with your practice is that you've started everyone asking me, what's going on today? How do you feel? What are you dealing with? And you've customized the practice for me. That's been really big for me in that, like I say, I have a learning challenge. You know, the popular term is ADHD. I don't care what people call it. The meditative part of the practice is helping me slow down, and I'm realizing I'm not going back on meds ever for that. I don't need it. I have this without unpleasant side effects. So slowing down and facing what you're feeling and what you're going through, becoming mindful of your own body, any pain, any discomfort, tightness. I think I already mentioned I spent a lot of years as a heavy drinker, and having left that behind most of 20 years ago, I'm on a crash course of pay attention to what my body is telling me. Mm-hmm. I'm on a crash course of pay attention to, because drug addiction is about not paying attention. As we know, it's about running away. And so this for me this is my time. This is pay attention to what's happening to me. It also has made it easier for me to make some other changes in my habits. I eat a lot better. My vision's clearer. I'm learning how to take care of myself finally.
Better late than never. And
there you are.
And if you keep it up, I'm certain that your health will continue to appreciate, and you'll have 10, 20, 30, gosh, maybe even 40 more years, who knows, beyond what you're capable of, and do it still youthfully, or do it still mobile, rather than, just kind of cling to life steadily and slowly depreciate. And then through the spiritual aspects of yoga, who knows what in the transition towards whatever's next beyond this life for you, beyond this earthly plane, whatever you believe in, to maintain your conscious connection with yourself, with your soul, with your light body. Maybe going all the way there, but for you now, looking forward to the short to middle range, long-term further investment in yoga, what are you looking forward towards?
I've had it in the back of my head. I want to walk the Pacific Crest Trail.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like a big a deal anymore. It doesn't seem like that big a deal. I had a little taste of archery when my sons were in scouting. I really like how it calmed me down and made me focus. I want to go back to that. I want to pursue it.
That's news to me. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. I was just starting to learn Latin dance with Bob when he just kind of shut down and couldn't learn anything else anymore and had to let it go. I'm going to find a partner, and I'm going to do Latin dancing. It's just full of joy. So, yeah.
That's a favorite of mine, too. Yeah, that's cool. And I hope there's a dance studio still open in Grants Pass.
Maybe. Got videos anyway. I mean, I'm on YouTube High School every day.
Nice. Well, on conclusion of this interview, any closing remarks to anyone out there who might be on the fringe of deciding whether or not they want to take up a yoga practice regularly?
Yes. You're already doing it on a small scale. If you look at the history of this practice, I mean, it's like 5,000 years old, something like that. If you're doing this to get the kinks out of your neck, you're already there. It can be expanded on so easily. And I think that the toughest thing for a lot of us is we tell ourselves, I'm too busy, I got too much to do today, And I would just say Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People said, you got to sharpen the saw. Part of getting your work done is taking care of your tools, and this is your tool, this body you live in. So it's how I'm making every day more effective, more comfortable, and more enjoyable.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to work with you and get to know you, befriend you, and honestly, you've changed my life just as much. Joanne has been, through these yoga lessons, these private yoga lessons, a major primary contributor to my and Catherine's journey around the world. She saved us out of jams more than once, and honestly, like, it's so easy to see the balance of the give and receive, and I'm so grateful that she was open to receiving and that I was open to receiving, and this partnership, this friendship was not just born, but is blossoming and growing and still going. And I'm really excited to see what it continues into. Together or apart, you know, I'm really proud of you, Joanne, and I'm really super, like, beyond grateful for this connection and for this doing this practice together. So thank you. Oh my gosh, there's a praying mantis on my tripod. He's climbing up on the camera. Come here, buddy. Look.
Welcome to Central America. There we are. All right.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
I love it.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, thank
An
you.
omen.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse.
Namaste.
Namaste.